after a barn burner of a game number 2 where it split between the first two games between the Braves and the Jaguars, with Jags taking game number 1 Friday night 7-5 and then losing the game earlier today in defeat 9-8. So the deciding game number 3 leads off with a bang, with Rivera doing damage again at the table setter position, executing a triple that was out in the field. Absolutely phenomenal piece of hitting. The Jaguars and the Braves trying to salvage game number 3 after a split decision in game 1 and 2. Braves taking second game, Jags taking the first. And that pitch by Jackson is belted into center. Rivera's taken off. The throw comes to home plate. Great decision by Rivera to hold up at third base. Phenomenal throw from the center fielder, Jim Wagner. As Will Thompson is your pitcher on the mound here in game number 3 for the Jags, with a 12-6 curveball that is lights out. But he's in a little bit of a jam right now with a runner at third, and the speedy quickness of Rivera 90 feet away from home plate. And Buffkin settles in as your third hitter in the game, and rips it a fastball inside. Quick turn of the hips, quick torque with the body, rips that foul off to the left. Good setup pitch by Thompson. Up, fastball up, gets a half check swing that Buffkin does check his swing, but a very good pitch to possibly set up Buffkin later in this at bat. Again, decides to elevate the pitch high at his shoulder blades for the second ball of the at bat. Thompson, the left-hander out of Auburn. Or out of Graceville, Florida, and then went to Auburn, transferred to Augusta from Auburn University. So we've got a 2-ball and 2-strike deadlocking count. And that ball is scorched into left field. Question is whether it's foul or fair, and it trickles foul onto the left side of the left field foul pole. But it definitely had the distance to be a Jimmy Jack if the ball was kept fair. Thank you again for joining us for Game 3. My name is Blake Collins, and my broadcast partner, Taylor, has been ushered into public announcing duties here at Lake Olmstead Stadium. So he is next door over at the PA announcer's table. So I will be delivering Game 3 for you guys at home. Thank you again for tuning in and watching. So a barn burner of a game number 2. Looks like it'll be that way here as the first run comes across like it did in the first inning of last game for UNC Pembroke, as that triple from Rivera, comes in handy and does some damage off of a ground out. From Buffkin, and now Devo, the right fielder, awaits his first offering. And that one soars out of play for past the playground here at Lake Olmstead Stadium. Will Thompson wheels and deals this one, a change up that barrels down on Debo, and he swung right through it. Debo is not late on that offering as that's sent to Tyler Roberts, who gathers it, collects himself, and retires Debo for the third out in the first inning. But a run does come across here as Rivera scores, and UNC Pembroke is up 1-0. The Jags lineup is stationary at least at the top with Lanford, Roberts, and Jano, your first three up. Then it gets it divaricates just a little with Wags in the cleanup spot, Jimmy Wagner in the cleanup spot, as Carrington Evans bats behind Wagner. Then the spot behind Evans is reserved for Sperling. Then Patrick Watson gets a start at first base with Jose Nagaris behind home plate for the Jags, coming in the 8th spot. And then as well, your DH for the Jaguars and Jamal Cummings is your 9th place hitter. So far, Lanford is going up against Cole Lovin here for the Braves, and he has pitched himself into an even count at 1 ball and 1 strike. That fastball was out of the plate where Lanford could get good aluminum on it, but he beat it into the ground. Phenomenal play there by the second baseman to retire Lanford out at first. So now stepping up to the dish is your shortstop for the Jaguars, Tyler Roberts. But on 2 quick pitches, Lovin has set down Lanford, and it doesn't bode well for the rest of the Jaguar lineup because they've only seen a little bit of what's in his arsenal. You would like for the count, if you're the Jaguars, to be worked to a full count or possibly a 2-2 to get a little bit of a heads up on what Lovin has in his arsenal. That'll do it right there as Tyler Roberts sends a rocket back up to Lovin. Good thing the reaction from Lovin there was so quick that it caught glove instead of the face. But Lovin doing a little bit of a dance to try to get out of the way of that one. Deflects it over to the right, and Roberts aligns himself on the first base bag for the first hit of the ball game for the Jaguars. And that ball is yanked foul past first base with Cole Janalsic in the box now. If you remember, and if my recollection is spot on, the Jaguars didn't have a hit within the first couple of innings last game earlier today. So they've got their first hit here in the first inning, but they're down a run. And with a speedster on the base pads with Tyler Roberts, let's see if Chris Howell implements a hit and run scenario with one out here in the first. Jano's opposite field approach has been money for the Jaguars. He pulls this one over to first base. Yes, a wide throw, a low throw at that, does not hit the shortstop in stride. In fact, he has to try to glove that ball low, and it sails into left field. But on the slide, Tyler Roberts is slow to get up, but he's up. And it looks like he is trying to shake off a little bit of concern there with a slow pass to second as he is leading off second now and looks to be back at full speed. And now off of an errant throw, you've got Jano and Roberts at first and second, Cole Janalsic at first, and Jimmy Wagner up at the dish, looking to counteract this slide that he's been on. He was on base a couple of times last game, but in the overall picture, he is in a predicament with the bat as far as being able to put a hitting streak together. As he takes a strike as he swings down and through the baseball but cannot make contact with it. And that ball ventures wide of the outside corner there from Lovin. And that pitch from Lovin misses tightly inside. So now the bases are juiced here with one out for the Jaguars. It's been a while since we've seen this kind of base running action on the base pads this early in the ball game for the Jags. So prime opportunity to tie this ball game up, down by one. And Carrington Evans has a shot to elevate his RBI total, which he takes a strike that bit hard inside, but the umpire designates that a strike. And that ball shot into right field. It falls right in front of Debo. And the Jaguars tie this ball game up at 1. Great piece of hitting. I thought for a second that it might have wound up staying high enough and it would have stayed elevated enough for Devo to trek under it to corral it, but it fell just before he got there, and Carrington stands at first base. Still bases loaded here in the bottom half of the first inning. And that ball from Sperling looked like it was going to come into the press box. But thank goodness a fan was right there to save the day. As Sperling stands back in, down 0 balls and 2 strikes. 1 out here with the bases juiced. Inches away from the outside corner there, misses. And Sperling is trying to work back to an even count. Down 1 ball, though, as he's in a hole. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And that ball's ripped into left center field. It's high enough. It's deep enough. It's in the gap. 1 run comes around. 2 runs come around. 3 runs are going to try. The throw goes to third base. He is out at third. But there was 1 out in the play. So the damage has been done. With only 1 out, those 3 runs do count. So the score escalates. Augusta with 3 runs on that double, which essentially turned into an out, but it was a double in the books, and the Jaguars have escalated their score to 4 runs, leading this ball game by 3. And now you've got Patrick Watson in at the dish. And he takes a strike that pegs the inside corner. Sperling creating damage early on for the Jaguars, plating 3 in a 3-run double. But he was retired in that double as a second out of the first inning at third, trying to stretch that double into a triple. But now it's in the hands of Patrick Watson. Watson on an 0-2 count fouls that ball off, and now head coach Chris Howell and Patrick Watson are wanting to talk here. Checking to make sure he's okay, because it looked like he fouled that ball off a part of his body. Jaguars accumulating 3 hits thus far in the first inning. Tried to frame the outside corner, just framed it a little bit too far outside. It's a 1-ball, 2-strike affair. Inside corner, tight, in on the hands. Watson couldn't do anything with it but watch it sail into the glove of Datillo. Tried to frame the same spot again. This time sinks a little bit lower and meets the dirt before it gets to the plate. Patrick stands. He thought it was ball four, but the umpire gives the call to the Braves to set down Patrick Watson in the first, but not before the backstick night for the Jaguars, plating 4 runs. 3 of those runs on a 3-run double by Sperlin. Jaguars in firm control early on as we head into the second. 4-1 is your score. DH Balcom for the Braves is the first man to test Will Thompson here in the bottom half, or the top half, of the second inning. He is met with a changeup that Balcom was expecting a fastball and swung right through it. Only contacted air for the first strike. Didn't miss that ball as that ball is scorched into left field. Pretty deep. Evans on the track to the ball. Catches it on the run. Almost on the warning track for a loud first out here in the top half of the second. And the third baseman, Beaver, takes a ball inside from Thompson. Tries to bait the outside corner. Could not hook it, though. Changeup had Beaver fooled dramatically as he swung tremendously in front of that changeup. Might have been called a strike even if he didn't swing at it, but the count is edged in at 2 balls and 1 strike. Erase that second ball and tack on a third ball to the count of Beaver. Tremendous spot, tremendous pitch, but a ball was called nonetheless as Beaver has a free pass over to first base. And that will pass the bat over to Hardings, the second baseman for the Braves. So Thompson looks in for the sign, gets set, comes to the delivery, and that delivery marks down a strike on the outside corner. Tall, lanky left-hander comes set. Fastball outside. Nogueira smart though, faking like he was going to throw to first, holding the ball, but making sure Beaver retreats back to first base. Not letting Beaver take too many steps beyond the 3-step lead. Just a smidge high on that fastball is that might have touched the outer banks of the high part of the strike zone. Two balls and one strike. And that ball is skied out to right. Sperlin is there, tracks it down, and puts the final touches on out number 2. DeTillo is your catcher, and he is the batter for the Braves at the plate. Nogueras blocking that ball in the dirt. Great form. Getting its base down, blocking it up close to the body, but the legs are in the dirt, so it blocks anything between there. As Thompson is working to a 1-1 even count. Hit and run scenario implied. And Carrington delivers the third out for the Jags in the top half of the second as we go bottom half. Jaguars still control this ball game up to this point. It's a 4-run total, and they lead by 3. First batter up to the plate in the second inning for the Jags in the bottom half is Jose Nagares. And he elevates that fastball even higher than it was originally elevated and fouls that back to the screen behind home plate. That pitch was gearing for the dirt anyway, but Nagares helps it out even more and just bounces it in the dirt, foul. So Lovin is on the mound, up 2 strikes to no balls. And Nagares with a chopper to third base. Beaver had a little bit of time ranging to his right. Clears it in the transfer. And throws a gem over to first base. So out number 1 is in the books. And Jamal Cummings, the 9-hole igniter for the Jags, is at the plate. He had a couple of crucial base hits in the game earlier in game number 2 that tied the ball game up for the Jags. Let's see what he can do here. Gets good aluminum on that. Fastball was elevated. He even elevates it more, but the left fielder for Pembroke in Jackson is right there to square the out away. And now it's back up to the top of the order, and Cody Lanford takes a strike that nails the outside corner. So Lovin is back. Wastes minimal time from pitch to pitch. Delivers a curveball too far inside. Lanford shoots it over to his counterpart at second. Second baseman trades the throw off to the first baseman, and the side is retired. But UNC Pembroke has some work to do if they look to get back into this ball game. Starts off with contact. Can they put the ball in play? We will see on the other side of the break. Will Thompson will battle the bottom half of the order, and Mobley is the first man up for the Braves. He fires a first pitch strike to the outside corner. A little bit out in front of that one was Mobley, but serves it into left field where Carrington is right there for the putout. And Rivera, who started the game out with a blast on third, and wound up on third base with a triple. That run did come home in the first inning to then give the Braves a one-run lead, but that quickly was overshadowed, and the Jaguars rose to the occasion, plating 4 runs in the bottom half of the first inning. And that trajectory path went a little high. That fastball looked pretty decent, but it didn't catch any part of the strike zone. Away from Thompson that time. So it's now a full count, 3-2, with Thompson's payoff pitch on its way. We'll read that as Rivera protecting the play. Hobbs. So Rivera is set down, and Jackson makes his way to the dish. An open stance does Jackson have. It's a filthy curveball by Thompson. We mentioned earlier that he has a nasty 12-6 curveball that literally drops off the table. It wasn't his 12-6, but that was a filthy one nonetheless. Your defense is straight up for the Jaguars. Strike 2. Plated the outside corner. Jackson did not like that one too much. Neither did the Pembroke dugout. And a ball outside part of the plate that Nagaris blocks very well. That ball filters low. Very good block on his knees by Nagaris. As it is now a full count, 3-2. And that ball is just laced into left center past the diving shortstop and Tyler Roberts. And Jackson escorts himself into scoring position with a double with 2 outs. Buffkin looks at his first offering outside. Strike one. Outside corner. Thompson now gathers a sign and fires away. Fastball that's belted into right field. Sperlin with a diving stab in right field ends the inning with a phenomenal play. And just when you thought the Braves had something cooking, Sperlin cans it, and we go to bottom three. Augusta still in front strong, 4-1. So the battlefield is set in the bottom half of the third inning with Roberts going toe-to-toe with Lovin on the mound. Lovin gets the best of that exchange. It's a fastball laces the outside corner. Excuse me, I had the wrong pitcher written down, but it's Kyle Boraski on the mound. And Boraski gives up a leadoff single. My apologies to Pembroke on that one. I had the wrong number written down. So it's Kyle Boraski on the mound for the Braves, as he will square off against Janausic. And that ball's ripped past a diving Buffin. And Janausic is on his way to third. Tyler Roberts shoots on in to score easily, as Cole Janowsic blazes one past a diving Buffkin, and Tyler Roberts turns on his engine and moseys his way all around from first base, 270 feet to home plate. And Jim Wagner stands at the dish now, back in the cleanup spot. As that ball sent sailing out to right field, and that is another triple for Jim Wagner, whose bat is popping right now. That was off the advertising signs here at Lake Olmstead Stadium, and back-to-back triples are doing some heavy-duty damage to Borowski and his defense. So it is now 5-1, escalates to 6-1 on the board for the Jaguars. And after head coach Paul O'Neill shoots back to the dugout for a defensive conference call with all of his infield. So give way. To Evans. Evans beautifully taken there. So that ball was just a touch inside to the inside corner. That time Borowski nails the inside corner. Gene Carrington in, not letting him get extended through the baseball. That time was a little bit more to the middle of the inside corner, and Carrington makes him pay for it. Fists a single into shallow right field, and the 7th run for the Jaguars comes across. And Sperlin has batting duties at the plate for the Jaguars. So what came across as a rough start to game 1 to ignite the bats continue late in that ball game to acquire 8 runs, and it's continued here in the third game, second game of a doubleheader this fine Saturday afternoon. It's turned into night, and that has turned into the bats screaming with 7 runs coming across for the Jaguars. Evans back in at first base. off of a miscalculation with the way rundowns work. Right there is, and Carrington's at second. Sperling is delivered side. I thought it was initially, but it broke back the third inning. Pitch where it was delivering a solid contact, the ball rolling for the Jags. Olmstead Stadium. Shallow pad to so now steps in your catcher Jose Nigueras. Down 2 strikes. And that ball finds its mark in the dirt. 1 ball, 2 strike count. And again, same location, same spot, same result. Pickoff attempt over at first. Or Sperling gets back safely. Nigueras swings through a changeup that sends him back to the dugout taking a seat for a few minutes. So he will head back and put on the catcher's gear. Jamal Cummings now anchors in at the 9 hole and steps in to the box. A firestorm of contact served up by the Jaguars. How 7 runs on 8 hits sound to the Jaguars fans out there. And we're only in the bottom half of the 3rd inning. And now Borowski is falling behind. Chopper to the right side. Tricky hop again. That's twice that it's plagued Pembroke. One last game and one this game. It turns into another run for the Jags as they are sprinting out to a 8-1 lead. So Lanford digs into the box and is looking to continue the onslaught. You've got Cummings at first. And a runner at second, 180 feet away. And again, during this game, with those 9 hits, they have utilized all sides of the diamond, going opposite field in many different areas of the ballpark. Including the middle is right there. Ball was ripped towards the second baseman, ricocheted off his glove, and that will account for your 9th run of the ball game. So Augusta does not want this third and deciding game to be in their loss column, as we are only in the 3rd inning. And I got to imagine that Borowski's day is done, giving up 9 runs in the first 3 innings. But we will find out as we come back. So getting the 911 call to the bullpen to try to quell this onslaught is Aaron Biggerstaff for the Braves. He shoots into the ball game with 2 outs in the 3rd, but an accumulation of 5 runs from the Jaguars with runners on 1st and 3rd have made this inning an absolute onslaught, as they have batted around and continue to put the pressure on the Braves and their pitching staff. Biggerstaff's first offering is high. His next pitch settles right over the heart of the plate to tie the count up at 1-1. That ball kisses the dirt for a 2-1 count.
Come on, Blue.
And a call not too prominent, and the fans did not like that call. It was a massive call for the Braves, but if you are Jaguars fans, it wasn't a prominent call. And that ball kicks off the shin guard of the catcher, and the 10th run incoming shoots around darts from third base to home plate to plate the 10th run of this game for the Jags. Sixth run of the inning for the Jaguars. And Biggerstaff steps off to look. The runner back at second. You got Tyler Roberts up. And the aluminum's coming alive as Tyler Roberts hits one over to the right side. But in fair play for the second baseman as he corrals it, shoots it over to first base. That will retire the side, but not before 6 runs in the bottom half of the third inning carry the Jaguars to a 10-1 lead. As we enter 4, come on back and join us. So Will Thompson left the second inning with a 3-run lead. Shut the door on the Braves. And in the third inning, shut the door on the Braves. He enters the fourth inning with an accelerated lead of 10-1. He is in a comfort zone and pitching with no pressure at this point is Will Thompson. As he's got to deal with the middle of the order, though, and Debo, Balcom, and Beaver due up here. And Devo gazes one as it ventures outside. Again, Thompson delivers. This time, frames the inside corner nicely. And that ball's ripped into right field. Sperlin plays it on a hop, gets it back into Lanford in the infield. But a great piece of hitting by Devo, getting the bat out in front of it and just ripping it into right field. That pitch wanted to be framed on the outside corner, but just barely misses. As that ball is tattooed too high, but right behind home plate to set down the first man here in the fourth inning. Great tracking ability by Nogueras and Janowski over at third base. Janowski had the longer run of the two. First pitch by Thompson is a strike right on the outside corner. As Thompson delivers the second pitch to Beaver. It's taken with a good eye outside. And that ball is tattooed on a line into right field. So now you've got runners on first and second with one out here in the fourth. So Harding's at the plate. If he does not hit into a double play, then it will be DeTillo's turn. Strike right down the pipe from Thompson. So you've got a force at third, second, and first available to the Jags defense. The Braves, you want to elevate this to the outfield. You don't want any chance of a double play to get you out of this inning. And they do that pristinely as that ball is ripped into left field. Carrington could not get there. One run stretches across home plate. And little by little, another run comes across, and they have two runners in scoring position at second and third. Thompson's offering to DeTillo is right down the pipe for strike one. That ball's inside, but he gets aluminum on it out to first base. Ty tries to make a play on it the best he can, but it was out of his reach. Firm protection mode here. See what look like inside two tip at. If you're a Braves fan, you do have one out. Right through it. The dish. He will look to get the ball into play and get one of the runs home and turn the batting order over to an ever dangerous Rivera on deck. And that pitch settles outside. Tries to go to the opposite inside corner this time, just a little low. That ball paints the outside corner masterfully. This is 2-1 now's the count. Thompson trying to work his way back to an even count. Another pitcher-perfect outside corner fastball from Thompson. Gets him back even. To the 2-2 pitch. Change up down in the dirt. Caught him swinging. Jaguars work into a jam. Thompson delivers to get out of the jam. Bottom half of the fourth inning is on the way. Jags up huge, 10-2. Janausic looks to combat Biggerstaff in the Jags half of the fourth. Biggerstaff, though, gets the better exchange number one with a fastball right down the pipe that Cole freezes at. Evens the count up at 1-1 with that fastball outside. Biggerstaff changes speeds with a changeup, breaks too much. That ball's in the dirt. 2-1 to count. Elevates that fastball for a 3-ball, 1-strike count. 3-2 off a fastball that pinpoints the outside corner. And that ball is pushed foul out toward the cars here at Lake Olmstead Stadium. Over to the left-hand side. And Janowsic works his way on base after falling behind in the count. And now Wagner marches up to the dish. If you're ever wondering about parking, the majority of the parking here at Lake Olmstead Stadium is off to the right-hand side. Now, you do have traversers traveling the road out toward the left-hand side of the ballpark, venturing around the lake here in downtown Augusta. And Wagner's at an even count now, 1-1. Make that 2-1 as he just gazes at a ball that travels to the dirt. And Wagner swings through that pitch that he liked, but could not deliver any aluminum to it. So now it's a 2-ball, 2-strike count. And that fastball gravitates to the outside part of the zone. For a full count now, 3-2. He caught Wagner swinging on a fastball he thought was a little bit more inside than it was, as that fastball tailed away from the outside corner. And Wagner's back at the dugout and gives way to Carrington Evans. Carrington is in the middle of that huge 6-run third inning for the Jaguars as that ball shoots out in foul territory. And strike nips the outside corner. So Carrington finds himself in a 2-strike hole. Foul tip in which the catcher caught, so Carrington Evans goes down on strikes. As it is now in the hands of Sperlin if they look to get any offense in the fourth inning. After that Janowsic base hit, he's back at first base. in time. Takes off this time, though, and Sperling puts a jolt into this one, but Denton's right in Debo's area. He's under it, has it, and the fourth inning is in the books. No change in the score, but the Braves are coming up to bat, looking to do something about that, down by 8. Noguera is at the box for, or excuse me, not Noguera, Rivera is at the box for the Braves. As his first two pitches are balls. Thompson is in firm control of this ball game as he has 8 runs, as he has an 8-run cushion. And Thompson is working behind in the count, 2 balls and 1 strike. Fires that fastball inside. Rivera with a good inside-out swing. Tough play for Sperling on the run, having to adjust the glove on the fly to make the catch. So a dangerous hitter in Rivera is set down, but that will give way to another dangerous hitter this game for the Braves in Luke Jackson. Thompson works his way into a hole. 1 ball and 2 strikes, or 1 ball 0 strikes on the count. Thompson again fires. This time just an inch high for a 2 ball and no strike count. The same pitch, just a little bit lower in the strike zone, and gets that strike call. Inches his way down on the upper part of the strike zone. And now it's an even count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. And that ball is towered out to second base. Good job by Lanford in shallow right field, making the grab. Buffkin stands in, looking to ignite some offense for the Braves, who are down by 8. And Thompson wants a new ball. He has one. And now with a 1-ball, no strike count, he works his way to an even count at 1-1 off a fastball. It's a good location. A little bit outside of the heart of the plate, but still called a strike. And that ball's just beat into the ground as Janowski could not glove it on the hop that was trickling to the ground. And then after it got under Janowski's glove, it went over the top of Roberts in his glove. So a seeing eye single is in the books as Debo marches up to the plate. Thompson is about the 3rd time through the middle of the order. He's got one ball on Debo. And Thompson now fires a pitch up and in to Debo, setting the stage up for a 2-ball and no strike count. Debo sets, takes the ball outside. Great spot, a pitcher spot, but does not get the hitter to execute a swing. Debo again takes one up and in. This time for ball 4 as now runners off a free pass will be at first and second. With 2 outs. And now Thompson fires again. This time finds the strike zone. The first strike rather of this at bat. Tries to connect to the outside corner, but just a little bit too outside. As Thompson now comes back and sets and fires. Thompson wanted to elevate that pitch a little bit. That found the lower part of the strike zone, but cannot connect with it. The umpire dictates. As it's now a count in the favor of the Braves. But it quickly on Balcom reverts back to an even count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Again, you've got runners on first and second with 2 outs. And that ball is lasered out toward the bullpen for the Jaguars. That bullpen for the home team, and in this case is the Jaguars, is exposed kind of like the bullpens are in Oakland and in Chicago for the Cubs. Now, the visiting bullpen is behind some of the signage and the barriers in play from foul territory, so they are covered, but Thompson does a good job of getting out of that jam with an excellent pitch, and the bottom half of the 5th is underway when we return. To kickstart your bottom half of the 5th inning, it will be Ty Hobbs colliding with Aaron Biggerstaff of the Braves on the mound. And Biggerstaff with a curveball fools Hobbs, thinking he might get a fastball, but it was a curveball instead. Freezes him dead in his tracks for his first strike. That fastball to even the count back up at 1-all. Change up. Didn't have very much break taken off that pitch. Was well, that stays a while back. Jaguar dugout. Skied out towards second base to where the putout was made. Nagaris now at the dish for the Jaguars. As Biggerstaff has come in and pretty much shut the door and at least toned down the onslaught from the Jags when he's been in the ball game. The Jags scored the majority of their runs within the first 3 innings of the ball game. 4 in the first and I believe 6 in the third. The run total and the hit total are even at 10 for the Jaguars. As Nagaris lays off of that fastball, but he should have swung at that as that was dictated a strike by the umpire. Nogueras with an educated eye watching that pitch fall into the dirt. That ball is bounced to third base where Beaver has a tough play ahead of him. Wild throw pulls Buffkin off the bag at first. And Nogueras is on first safely. And it's a chance for Jamal Cummings in the 9 hole to execute and get Nogueras over to second or possibly third. Outside corner, noted, pegged, and delivered on as that's the first strike of the at-bat. Ball high in the strike zone. That fastball is underneath the swing of Jamal Cummings as he's looking at a 1-ball, 2-strike count. Outside corner, nailed it, buried Cummings, and he is sent back to the dugout with 2 outs here in the bottom half of the 5th inning. Now as we resume back up to the top half of the Jags batting order, Lanford has the opportunity that Jamal had. Let's see if Biggerstaff can get the better of Lanford. Strike in there. Tight strike there on the inside part of the plate. Biggerstaff nails the inside corner. And even if Lanford would have offered at it, there wasn't much he could do with it. And that's a chopper out to short. Quick and easy way to second base. Retires out number 3. So as we go top half of the 6th inning, it's still a stabilized score of 10-2. But the Braves have to get those bats coming alive and ignited to get back into this ball game. And they're running out of outs with four innings to go. Thompson day on the mound for the Jaguars is complete as he only allows 2 runs on it looks like 5 hits. And he gives way on the mound to new pitcher for the Jags, Chase Sloan. Coming into the 6th inning. And he will square off against Beaver as his first batter. Sloan on the corner, paints the inside part of the plate. Again with that offering, but it's low. That ball's turned on, couldn't do much with it, just fouls it off to the Jaguars' dugout. And another pitch that bails down low to even the count at 2-2. That ball, thought it might have gotten under the glove of Ty Hobbs, but a foot race to the bag. Ty elects to toss it to the pitcher, but the foot race was won by the third baseman, Beaver. And that strike barrels in by Sloan on the inside part of the plate. Great pitch to start this at bat by Hardings. Again, this time pegging the outside corner. A little bit of picture perfect mastery, painting of the corners by Chase Sloan here. Tried to nap the outside corner again, but just centimeters away from the outside corner. The Braves are being a little bit more disciplined at the plate, making the Jaguar pitchers throw their pitch. It's just when they get it, what they can do with that pitch. It's right there. Hardings was swinging like he wanted to elevate that ball and send it to downtown Augusta, but swings right through that pitch. And instead of sending it downtown, he is shipped back to the dugout for the Braves. And the catcher now, DeTillo, stands in. They've got a runner at first base, but you don't want to strand any men on the base paths if you can help it when you are trailing by 8. And a double play ball initiated by Janowski. Over to Lawson, turns, fires, double play in order, corralled by Hobbs. Absolutely tremendous effort on all sides of the diamond there. We go to the bottom half of the sixth inning. Jags still up 10-2. So the initial batter to start off the bottom half of the sixth inning for the Jags was Tyler Roberts, as he gazes one that settles outside of the strike zone for the first ball of the at-bat. Biggerstaff still on the mound for the Braves, virtually shutting the door these last two innings on the Jags. But it's in a hole here as Roberts belts that one deep into left center field. Roberts at least has a double, trucking on into second with a wide turn. Great piece of hitting by Roberts, standing in at second, igniting the sixth inning off for the Jags to a raucous start. And that gives way to a lethal inside-out approach hitter in Cole Janowsic. Biggerstaff's ball misses outside. Tyler dancing off a second prompts Biggerstaff to step off. Janowsic waits. Gets a hold of that offering from Biggerstaff, but shoots it back foul into the concourse area. Call pegged the outside part of the outside corner. for the second strike. Nobody out here in the sixth inning. And that ball's belted to second. Janowski does his job in moving Tyler Roberts over to third base. Now it's all in the hands of Jim Wagner to see if he can get the run across home plate. He tries to with that emphatic swing, but gets nothing but air. Outside corner strike taken by Wagner. Again, caught Wagner fishing on that changeup. This for the second out of the inning. Carrington Evans stands in now. And Evans' first pitch rips one past the second baseman, and that plates the 11th run for the Jags. So Carrington didn't waste any time. Like the first pitch, pounces on it, sends it the opposite field, and the Jags are in business with their 11th run across in the game. Adam Sperlin's your batter. Sperlin looks at that pitch die on him before as it gets to the plate. Biggerstaff tries again on the inside corner this time, but it's a little too far inside. Biggerstaff is back in the saddle, though, with the first strike of the at-bat. Biggerstaff evens the count up on a changeup that was swung through. And that ball trickles out to shortstop, tosses it over to second, into the sixth inning, but not before the Jaguars tack on one extra insurance run as we head to the top 7. The Jaguars are in firm control. Mobley steps into the plate for the first chance at Sloan here in the 7th inning. And he goes fishing. He didn't get a nibble. He didn't get a bite. All he got was air. This time he lays off of a pitch almost in the same spot for a ball. That pitch was delivered a little bit up in the strike zone from the last, but it still does not catch the outside corner. Ball's belted to Roberts. Transfer, easy throw over for the first out of the 7th inning. Good idea to get Mobley, as it doesn't allow a runner to come on base for this man who marches up to the plate in Rivera. He has done some heavy-duty damage when runners have been on base for the Braves. The 5-tool player has all the tools that you would want in a great baseball player. Has an arm, has speed, has power, has contact, and also can steal bases. Along with a great arm in center field. Sloan battles back with a 3-ball and 1-strike count. But can he continue the battle without losing Rivera? We are about to find out. As he loses him there on 5 pitches. So the speed will come into play for the Braves and for the Jags. But Sloan will go toe-to-toe with Luke Jackson. Sloan's first offering is up high and away from the plate. It's going to be tricky if the Jaguars want to turn a double play. With 2 speedsters, one at first, one at the plate. The elevation on that fastball is a little bit high. But that's what you want if you are a Brave hitter right now. You want the pitches elevated to where you can smack it into the deepest parts of the ballpark. And Chris Howell makes a conference call to all of his fielders in the infield and his catcher as well. On the mound with his pitcher. The next offering is high from Sloan. So it's a three ball no strike count, and he loses him on 4 straight. So Rivera will trek off to second, and Jackson's over at first base. And your third place hitter, Buffkin, stands at the dish with an opportunity to light up the scoreboard with a run. You might not think it's much, but you take one bat at a time, one run at a time if you can get it. And before you know it, you're right back into this thing. So let's see what Buffkin can do for the Braves. High and tight. Sloan is in a little bit of a rough patch this inning. Losing Jackson on 4 straight. And then starting Buffkin with a ball high. 6 straight balls as that ball ventures low. If I'm not mistaken, he also ran a 3-1 count on Rivera at second as well. Locates the heart of the strike zone there. He's back at an even count at 2 balls and 2 strikes after that fouls off to the right. Or to the left, excuse me. That ball hits the dirt. The 7th inning marks our 15th inning of baseball today. He had a game earlier that the Jaguars faltered in, losing 9-8, came back, scored 8 runs in masterful fashion, but could not pull the trigger on a win. But that is belted into left field in game number 3, and 1 run is shooting around to score. The runner at second will hold as the Braves scratch across run number 3 here in the 7th inning of game number 3. A pinch hitter, Sabah, comes in to try to liven up the bats even more for the Braves. And he fists one out to shallow left field. Long run for Roberts. Cannot get there. 1 run is across. Or excuse me, 2 run. Well, 1 run is across on that play, as Pembroke, little by little, keeps inching closer to that 11-run total for the Jaguars, only down by 7. And that pitch is jolted foul back toward the screen area. That's a DH. Oh, no, excuse me. It's a. Yes, Balcom, the DH, is at the plate. It's 1-1 offering from Sloan. He's on its way. Swing and a miss. Massive cut there by Balcom. Wanting to get 3 runs across on one swing, but gets none as he comes up empty. And it's 1 ball and 2 strikes is your count on Balcom. Fastball that's buried in the dirt to even it up at 2-2. Short chopper to second. Balcom's got legs for a DH. He almost runs that one out. As a run does come across. And it is 11-5. So a sacrifice to the right side creates a run on the offensive board for the Braves, and they got a runner at second. The ball slides to the interior of the strike zone there, a little bit lower than what initially Sloan wanted. It winds up in the dirt for the first ball of this at bat to Beaver. Connects with the corner there to Sloan, and Beaver staring at an even 1-1 count. Strike, tagging the corner. Sloan is back in the driver's seat now. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Strike 3, pegged him on the outside corner. So that wraps up the 7th inning of work for the Braves. They do, however, stretch across 3 runs to shift this lead to a 6-run lead. It's getting close. They've got 6 more outs to work with, but first we'll see what the Jags can respond with as we enter the stretch. And when the exit comes, we will be back with you for the bottom half of the 7th. Seventh inning starts off with Ty Hobbs at the ditch, the first baseman for the Jags. Swings right through that changeup. So sweet that he couldn't lay off, but he swung right through it. This time he connects on a changeup, and that ball is sent on a line to a deep part of the ballpark for the first out. That ball was scorched 399 feet. It is about 400 to center field, to the deepest part of the ballpark, and just centimeters away from going out. Ty Hobbs with a screaming out number one. But it gives way to Nagaris. The catcher has one of the only hits off of Biggerstaff. There hasn't been many, although they did stretch across a run last half inning, but just few and far between. And that ball is sent on a bounce to third base. And he couldn't come up with it cleanly, as Beaver cannot transfer it well, and Nagaris is at first base. As a pinch hitter comes in, for Jamal Cummings in the form of Jake Bogosian. Bogosian, a lot of power within those legs. And that will wrap up Jamal Cummings' day, as he will take a few innings rest. And Bogosian is in the driver's seat here. 2 balls and no strikes. Biggerstaff, though, works his way back into the passenger seat with a 2-ball, 1-strike count. Count is now even. And then control quickly shifts back over in Bogosian's favor on a 3-2 pitch. Biggerstaff, you don't want to be too perfect, but you don't want to lay one in there for Bogosian to attack either. And he loses Bogosian there off a 3-2 fastball that misses the outside corner. So you've got Nogueras and Bogosian. Nagaris respectively on second. Bogosian just walked to first base. And now hands it over to the top of the order in Cody Lanford. And Lanford doesn't like what he sees there, so he lays off. Swings through that changeup, though. It is an even count at 1-1. Biggerstaff delivers. Ball low in the zone for ball 2. And that fastball creates speed and brushes off the bat of Lanford as he swings right through it. So it's 2 balls and 2 strikes with 1 man down here in the bottom half of the 7th. Changeup had Cody out in front. And he's down on strikes and on his way back to the dugout. Tyler Roberts now walks up to the dish. Biggerstaff's offering drops low in the dirt. Curveball, curve to the outside part of the plate. Gorgeous pitch there by Biggerstaff. And all Roberts could do is admire it. Fastball outside corner. Roberts did not take the bat off his shoulders. So it is now 1 ball and 2 strikes. Ball inside. Nagaris back to second. Nagaris and Bogosian on the base pads. Roberts at the plate. 2-2-2. 2 outs, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Tap foul, so we'll redo the 2-2-2 pitch. Jaguars executed 4 runs in the 4th, extended that lead to 10-2 by 6 runs crossing in the third inning, and tacking on one more last half inning. Now the Braves got 2 in the first, got 1 in the first. To add to their 5-run total. And then last inning, pushing across 3 runs. I should say the top half of the 7th. So his last half inning, executing 3 runs across. Nagaris and Bogosian were in motion. They'll redo it as a second 3-2 pitch is underway to Tyler Roberts. He keeps digging in the trenches and battling back. Let's see what happens. Biggerstaff, Tyler, pops one out to right field. Is it playable? It is not, as it reaches out of play. And so Biggerstaff comes set again with, to my recollection, the 3rd payoff pitch. And again, that one's popped in the air. This time it's playable. Shallow. Shortstop is there to make the grab. So the 7th inning is shut down with no runs scored for the Jaguars. We migrate to the 8th inning. UNC Pembroke has got some room to breathe, but they've got a lot of work to do down by 6. Cody Pugh takes his shots on the mound as his initial day in this second game is in the top half of the 8th inning. And he will square off. The first man to face him is Harding. Cody Pugh starts off Harding with a strike down the pipe. Again, a very quick worker is Pugh. Doesn't waste much time. He has a rhythm and he sticks to it. And Harding asks for time, making him take more time than he wants to on the mound. Pugh's delivery is just a little bit off the outside corner. Yes. And that's ball 3. Pugh is in a hole here. 3 balls and 1 strike. Tries to catch the outside corner, but nips nothing but glove and nothing but air as no strike call was given. DeTillo stands in. The top half of the 8th inning, 6 outs to work with, 6 runs to get across for Pembroke to tie this ball game up. They have a good start to the 8th inning with a man on. DeTillo's taken all the way, first pitch. And that's delivered as a strike. That ball is sent toward the right field side of play, out of bounds, and out of play. Got a pretty good sized foul territory here at Lake Olmstead Stadium to contend with. It's not anywhere near the size of the Coliseum in Oakland, but it is pretty good size nonetheless. A swing and a miss as Pugh sets him down on strikes. It's a beautiful breaking ball that fooled Pembroke all day. And now, Mobley is back up. As Pugh's offering settles in the dirt. Pugh checks on the runner at first, back in safely. It is Harding's. Pugh again tries to nip the outside corner, but all he nips is frigid air. That time centers the plate up, pinpoints it, and delivers a fine strike down the heart of the plate. A little bit lower than that first strike, but it's in the strike zone. So it's a 2-2 deadlock count on Mobley. Jags have a chance to suspend Rivera's bat on deck with a inning-ending double play. And that ball skied to second. Out second baseman is Lanford making the grab. So 2 down now. As Augusta is in firm control of this third and deciding game 3. As Pembroke swiped game 2 away from Augusta, 9-8, and then Augusta struck first in game number 1, winning 7-5 on Friday. Pugh lets Hardings know that he's checking on him. With a throw over to first base and another throw, concerned about the speed of Hardings. You don't want to dance too much around Rivera at the plate. And he sends a hard lining shot to Roberts. Makes a great diving stab. Fires over to first to get the speedster Rivera at first. Excellent play by Roberts to wrap up the top half of the 8th inning. We go bottom half. If the score holds, this will be the Jags' last at bat. We'll see what happens on the other side of the break. Dale Masterson, new pitcher in for the Braves, looking to shut down the will of the Jaguars to extend their lead even further in the bottom half of the 8th inning, as their lead is by 6. He looks to come in and just shut the door completely, but he has a tough task ahead of him, dealing with Janowsic, Wagner, and Evans here in the 9th inning. Or no, bottom half of the 8th inning, excuse me. Got a little bit ahead of myself. Janowsic lines one out to the playground. A bobble at second reassures Janowsic an extra step, but the recovery is in time to throw him out. Wagner walks up to the dish. As Wagner bounces one to Buffkins at first. Recovery is made. 2 quick outs here in the bottom half of the 8th inning. And Evans now walks up to the dish and takes one right up in his chin. Ducks out of the way of that one for a ball. As Evans now stands back in on a 2-0 count. Bounces one to shortstop. Gathered nicely, fires over to first. 3 up and 3 down. Quick inning for the Jags. The turnover to the 9th inning. Braves have to bring the Thundersticks in the 9th inning to have any chance of a comeback, down by 6. Joey Stillwell enters the ballgame in a non-save situation, looking to fire blanks to the bats of the Braves here in the 9th inning. This is not a save situation, but if he can close the door, this will elevate the confidence of Stillwell. Not only that, but the team will garner a win for the Jaguars in a much-needed conference victory. Now, they won Friday, and the Jags lost earlier today, so that makes them 3-5 in Peach Belt Conference play. If they were able to get a win tonight and hold on here in the 9th inning, they would be one step closer to 500. I believe only a game back of 500 in Peach Belt Conference play. And also, while we're talking about the conference, our next home webcast here at Lake Olmstead Stadium and our next home games will be Friday, March 24th against Armstrong State at 6 p.m. here at Lake Olmstead Stadium. Then the same scenario as we had today with the doubleheader will ensue on the 25th on that Friday in March, as a doubleheader will cap off the series Saturday, March 25th against Armstrong State. So stay tuned to AugustaJags.com, the website there. We will update you as we get closer to game time, but just note that it'll be about a week out before we come back on the 24th and 25th with the Armstrong State Series here at Lake Olmstead Stadium. And that ball is bounced over to Janowski. Easy flip over to first. Cans him out at first, and now Jaguars are 2 outs away from securing a win. As Stillwell works his first pitch into ball territory. He has 1 out in the 9th inning on a very quick bouncer to Janowski, who recovers and made the out. And finds the first strike in this at bat right there, inside corner. Stillwell, inside corner, off his glove. Roberts is there to gather it. Fires over to first. Great recuperation, great realization by Roberts of the deflection off of Stillwell's glove. Tosses it over to first. Second out obtained, and now the last hope for the Braves is Alaman Sabah at the plate. And Sabah looks at a ball in the dirt to start off the at-bat. Stillwell barely misses the outside corner there. Sabah with a great eye. It's a 2-0 count on him. And that pitch finds the dirt on the outside. You say the 27th out is the hardest out to get, and Stillwell is finding that out right now. So 4-pitch walk is issued to Alaman Sabah. Stillwell's first offering is outside. He has 2 outs in the ninth inning, looking to get that 27th out. Good take there by Baucom. Another take, this time it finds the strike zone. Ball in the dirt from Stillwell. Stillwell leaves one in the center of the plate. And Baucom delivers a smashing single up the gut into center field. And Chris Howell is out to talk to his defense and the pitcher. You know, the Braves are showing some life here with 2 down. They have a long ways to go, though. They need to score 6 runs to be able to tie this ball game up. It's not out of the question because the Saginaw Valley State game, it was only 7 innings, but it went that way to compensate for Saginaw Valley's trip down, and plus they had another game against Shortage. But their 7th inning and their final inning, they scored 3 to 4 runs to navigate themselves back into a tight ball game in their last at bat. So it's not out of the question as the Braves here tonight in the 9th inning have runners at first and second. However, there is 2 down in the 9th inning. And Stillwell delivers the first strike, barreling in at the feet of Beaver, a little bit too antsy. Stillwell, beautiful curveball, ventures inside over the heart of the plate for the second strike of the at-bat. So what is the final at-bat possibly for the Braves? They're down to their final strike. And a swing and a miss by Beaver at a changeup in the dirt. And that seals the deal and settles the score. The Jaguars elevate and take game number 3 and the deciding game of this series, 11-5. They also take the series away from UNC Pembroke, and they are 1 game away from a 500 record in the Peach Belt Conference. And I do want to mention this before we head off the air. Remember, fans, it'll be about 10 days out before we are back with you here at Lake Olmstead Stadium, with the next homestand being Friday, March 24th, and a double dip on March the 25th. That Saturday, that game will start at 1. The next game will start soon after that. But the Friday game on the 24th, that will anchor in at 6 o'clock sharp here at Lake Olmstead Stadium. You do not want to miss it. The Jaguars come back from a Game 2 loss, execute perfectly, elevate to 11-5 victory here in game number 3. We will see you on the 24th. Have a great week. Have a great night. Be safe out there, and we'll see you next time.